Hey, friends, welcome to another episode of Truth Lies Shenanigans, the live show for Wednesday, September 23rd, 2020. My name is Neo, and my job is to introduce you to my co hosts. So, to my left, the scholarly Miss Lizzie.
Happy Wednesday. Happy hump day, everyone. How many humps can you pump? Whoop, whoop,
And below me, the family man East.
Welcome everybody to the show. Thanks for coming in.
In the opposite corner, we have the gamer Rob B.
Hey, how's it going, everyone? It's good to be here. Another Wednesday night.
All right. Welcome. Today's show, the mass unwanted hysterectomies given to migrants at a Georgia detention center are all too real. Today we have attorney Reverend Kimberly Peyton Jones joining us to tell us her client's story. Also, in our hot topic, East asks if people in the Trump cult can ever be deprogrammed. Rob B tells us that Canadians are sending poison letters to the White House. And Liz Z talks about Ellen addressing the toxic culture on her show. Remember, our show is streaming live just about everywhere: YouTube, Facebook, Periscope, and Twitter at TLS Live Show. And you
tweet
can
me.
watch us at www.truthliesenanigans.com. And if you're loving our show, let's get the word out. Take a minute, think of a couple of people, a couple of friends that you think would enjoy our show, and mention them in the comments section so they can see us, especially with what we have discussing today with our guest. Um, we're certain that they will appreciate the conversation for it. Of course, we love it when you join in the conversation. We'll be checking the conversations, the comments on all of our feeds, responding to you live on air. All right, co-hosts, we have a packed show. So let's get started. Now, we got some breaking news today. The officers that killed Breonna Taylor were finally charged today, but
Officer.
those charges are completely unrelated to Taylor's murder. The grand jury charged Brett Hankinson with 3 counts of wanton endangerment in the first-degree shooting for blindly shooting into the apartment, but the investigation determined all of the officers' use of force was justified because they had been fired upon first. So let's make this quick. Let me know your thoughts. Lizzie?
So let me just put this scenario out there. And I have no warrants out on me. I have no bodies on me, no warrants on me, anything like that. However, last week I was teaching online for my Zoom classes. I teach 5 classes a day. Teaching online, in the middle of teaching, someone comes pounding on my door. Someone that I didn't invite, someone that I didn't expect, someone that I didn't anticipate. And I'm teaching. Thankfully, at the time, I was running a movie for the students. So I was able to step away. They couldn't see me, but I went to the door with a knife because the pounding was so intense. It's like, who the F is this at my door?
Yep.
Like, people in their homes, first reaction is to protect themselves. And there's some discrepancy as to whether or not they identify themselves or not. But for me, I'm just like, you come to my house with all of that aggression, it's going to be on, especially if you don't identify yourself. It's in the middle of the night. What are you doing banging on my door?
Yep. For those that don't know Breonna Taylor's story, who may or may not, I know we've all heard it in the news, but Breonna Taylor was in her home. She had a boyfriend that was being investigated for, I believe it was drugs.
Ex-boyfriend.
Sorry, yep,
Ex-boyfriend.
correction.
Ex-boyfriend.
Thank you for correcting that. Ex-boyfriend that was being investigated, and she was thought to be part of the investigation. And so they invaded her home in the middle of the night when she was with her current boyfriend. Her current boyfriend had a weapon, and
Illegally had a weapon.
correction, illegally had a weapon, and he fired upon the intruders. There
Who
was some,
kicked the door down.
yep,
Who kicked the door down.
who happened to be police officers, and then one of the officers blindly shot um, into the home. So, Robbie,
Killing Breonna.
killing Brianna.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Your thought?
It's. I mean, it's a charge, but I don't think that it's the socially responsible charge. I don't think that it's the warranted charge. It's it's really a drop in the bucket. I don't think that the investigation should be closed, and I think that there should be more charges pressing. And just as Liz was alluding, if they did not identify themselves as law enforcement, and even if they did in the middle of the night and kicking down a door, that's a lot of commotion. And if you're being woken up by that, all you know is that someone is breaking into your home. So it's a very tragic series of events that led to a tragedy. So it's like I said, it's a drop in the bucket.
Yeah. East.
And the officer that was charged, he was charged for shooting into other apartments, not Breonna Taylor's
Very
apartment.
good point.
So it's to the point that the property destruction was more important than Breonna Taylor's life. Now, truth be told, I don't know all the evidence. We've discussed some of it on the show, but on a visceral front, this is highly disturbing to people of color, where it just seems like so often police officers get away with killing Black and brown people all of the time. This has been going back decades, going back to as far, I've read books about how in '68 they raided Fred Hampton and the Black Panthers. They shot the door 99 times and no officer was charged. So this has been going on for decades. And I hate to say it, but I'm not surprised. I'm disappointed, slightly angry, but I'm not surprised.
Yeah. Go ahead, Lizzie.
It also very quickly it raises the question of what type of surveillance that they do on Breonna Taylor before they decided to exercise this warrant, particularly because they said that they didn't know or they missed the fact that she came home with the current boyfriend. They thought she was in the house by herself, when in fact she came home with her boyfriend. Also, we know that she was an EMT worker. Okay, so did they ever question her? Because the guy they were looking for did not live at the residence. Like, he may have had some past history with that residence, but he did not live there. And correct me if I'm wrong, I think he was already in custody by the time this happened. I could be wrong on that. But it still begs the question, did they at least attempt to question Brianna about this young man before they decided to exercise this warrant? Like, there has to be a whole lot that goes before this,
Yes.
before you get to this extreme end result.
And that brings up my thoughts on it. I mean, it's, as far as the officers themselves, I don't know that they should be charged with, maybe first degree murder or even second degree murder. I mean, certainly
Reckless endangerment.
reckless endangerment for sure. I think the charges don't meet you know, don't meet the scenario. But with that being said, I think there should be charges for other people involved. Like, where do they get their information? I mean, there's more people that were involved in this that are responsible. I don't know that they're criminal charges necessarily, but even something. I mean, it's not enough. My thought is it's just not enough. So, all right.
I mean, something doesn't add up because the city already paid millions of dollars in the settlement. The officers were fired, yet legally nothing happened.
Yeah.
So the situation is incongruent.
So the
And
isn't the district attorney or the is it the district attorney? I think he's Republican, right?
the attorney general
Attorney General,
of
yeah,
Kentucky.
yeah, he's
He's
Republican.
Republican.
I don't know. I was watching and I'm listening to him when he's talking, and I don't know. I just got a really, I don't know. I just got a shady vibe from him when I was listening to him. So I don't know.
Well, let me ask you this very quickly, Neo and East and Rob. Even with these three charges, do you think there's going to be any guilty verdicts that
No,
this officer, because he can
I'm
do,
sorry, I
I
said
think with
it
the
too fast.
charge,
You did say it pretty fast.
it's with the charges, it's 1 to 5 years, if I'm not mistaken, that he could get. So do you think we're going to see any jail time for this officer?
At best, probation.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, I agree with you on probation, but I think that there'll be something. I think they'll be charged. I think there's just too much pressure not to.
Nobody's going to jail.
No, I don't. Not for
No.
no for significant. No, not for any significant amount of time. But
No.
all right, let's go ahead and get into the show. So let me tell our viewers a little bit about what Truth, Lies, and Shenanigans is all about, and you've gotten a little taste from our discussion on Breonna Taylor. We'll be sharing our truths and opinions with you, calling out the lies and pointing out the crazy shenanigans going on in this world. But most importantly, on this show, we try to have some fun with shenanigans of our own. We have one rule for the host, and that's no cussing. If you get caught cussing, there's a $10 penalty, and if you're caught 3 times in the same show, you are going to be writing a love letter to Dear Donald Trump.
We fell in love.
So hopefully we don't have any cussing tonight. You see Lizzie is way in the lead.
I'm being very respectful of our guest tonight, who is a reverend, so I'm going to keep it very straight and narrow.
All right, good. All right. Bunch of good viewers online. Sorry I didn't get to your comments for that, but